And then there were two. Danielle Allen, a Harvard professor and the first black woman to run for governor in a major party in Massachusetts, is ending her bid, leaving Attorney General Maura Healey and State Senator Sonia Chang Diaz as the remaining Democratic contenders. But while Allen may be out of the race, she says she's far from out of the fight for reform, saying in a statement yesterday there's no excuse for ballot access procedures that push out qualified but non-traditional candidates and rob the people of Massachusetts of real choice on their ballot. Danielle Allen joins me now. Danielle, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Nice to see you, Jim.
So it wasn't even, I don't think, 2 weeks after we all read about your plan to decriminalize small amounts of every drug, you call it decriminalizing addiction, that you drop out of the race. What happened in between?
Well, it's just pure math. The caucuses started, and we have a very impressive candidate in the form of the Attorney General, and she did her work. And I know we did our math, and there was no path. And that happens, you make the call. But I'd love to take a moment to zoom out here. It's great to get the chance to talk with you about our democracy and how we get the chance to strengthen it. We're working hard nationally on that question to make sure that there's full voice and access for everybody. And that's, I think, really what it's time to talk about here as well.
I don't think we're working hard enough nationally, to be perfectly frank, but let's discuss Massachusetts for a second. You said the current system of picking nominees, to use your words, leads to a serious impoverishment of our democracy. Are you specifically talking about, for those that don't know, that caucus system you mentioned? Any candidate for statewide offices has to reach a 15% threshold of Democratic caucus goers to be on the ballot for a primary. Is that the major focus of your concern?
So that's a part of the conversation, but I think it is helpful to zoom out because it gets really technical real fast. And I think it's hard. Lots of people don't even honestly know that the caucuses have been happening.
That is correct.
Folks think the election is in September. But really, for all the work we've been doing around the country, I think the just key point is we should be making voice and access as easy as possible. Our democracy is under threat, and responding to that is about making voice and access as easy as possible. We spent a lot of time talking about voting rights and the way we can do that with mail-in voting, and our legislature has been fantastic moving the Votes Act forward, and the Mass Dems have been working hard as well to really drive up participation and so forth. And then in addition to voting rights, there's a question of running for office. So democracy is a beautiful thing for human beings. It empowers us, gives us a chance to shape our lives. It's about the right to vote and the right to run for office. So the thing to think about is, what are the requirements for getting your name on the ballot? It's that basic question, and it looks really different in different places around the country.
But I want to stay in Massachusetts for a second, and then we can step back for a moment. There's a woman who's been pretty successful who has a work background not unlike yours. She worked down the street from you at Harvard Law School, and she's now our United States Senator. She had to deal with a similar system. There's a guy who, when I first interviewed him, and he came in my studio, New England Cable News, I had never even heard his name. That was DeVal Patrick. They were both able to use the existing system and get from here to there. Why do you think it's generally unfair if others have prospered in it?
So I'm not saying it can't be done or hasn't been done, but I'm saying that the barriers are unnecessarily high. So let me go ahead and just share those comparisons. Okay. So in California, to get on the ballot, all we're talking about here is putting your name on the ballot.
Yes.
Right? That's it. We're not talking about winning an endorsement from the party or winning the race. Just, can you run? Getting your name on the ballot. California, a couple of $1,000 filing fee and 100 signatures. Or if you can't pay the fee, 7,000 signatures. Illinois, 3,250 signatures. Massachusetts, 10,000 signatures plus a set of majority caucus votes in a set of towns and cities that cumulatively add up to 15% of the delegate count. So $1 million, 14 months of work. That's what it takes in Massachusetts versus those other states.
Yeah, but so I would assume that based on how you describe the California system, that means that everybody who is upright, who, physically upright, who chooses to run for a statewide office can. Is that what you're proposing? Basically, unlimited access. If a man or woman believes that he wants to run or she wants to run for an office, they should be able to, period, essentially.
I am making the case that we should, in the same ways we think about voting rights, we're trying to make sure we've got lowering the barriers, ease of access to voice and choice. Same should be true for ballot access. And yes, you definitely want principles that are going to weed out candidacies that aren't serious, for sure. And so you got to design it right. So the conversation to be has, what's the right design there? And I think if you look at across states, lots of folks have found a different design for making sure you've got serious candidacies and genuine access.
You know, you mentioned the other end of the spectrum, voting rights on the state level, and you say we did a terrific job on Beacon Hill. They didn't include same-day registration, which one chamber supported, one did not. Many voting rights activists think that that was a central piece of making voting easier reform. Are you in agreement with them?
Sure. Yeah, no, I'm a supporter of same-day registration. And so as you know, there's more work to be done. You know, this beautiful state is the birthplace of democracy. We have done so much good work for democracy. We are currently doing great work for democracy, and there's more to be done. I think that's where this is, really focused on, and we can help set a standard for the country about what it really means to have an inclusive democracy where there really is a voice and choice.
You know, I don't know if it is an attitude. Your approach, you come off as so much more positive than I feel about this voting rights effort on the national level. Any direction that I look, it's an unmitigated disaster. The cowards in the United States Senate, the 20-some states that are going out of the way to suppress voting, a Supreme Court that probably is on board with such suppression. Is there a light that I'm missing somewhere in that picture that you see?
Massachusetts, my friend.
Well,
Massachusetts. All right, because we know what the right thing is. We know what it means to protect the vote. We know what it means to open up voice and choice. So let's do the work and keep doing the work and move it forward. I think that's why it's so important to do this in Massachusetts, because a lot of states are failing, actually, and we aren't getting everything that we need out of Washington. So all the more important for us to stick by our principles and say, yeah, we can do better. We don't need these unnecessary barriers to voice and choice.
A couple of seconds ago, unprompted, you praised the candidacy of Maura Healey. Should that lead one to the conclusion that that's your candidate?
I am not making any endorsements at this time. I was simply acknowledging a political reality. She's certainly in a very strong political position. That is a political reality.
Before you go in 30 seconds, what's this experience been like for you, Danielle?
Oh my gosh, it has been so fantastic, Jim. It is honestly hard to explain. I have loved every single day of this, even the last few days when we had to look at the math and just had to make a call because the math was very clear. It has been the honor of my life, the joy of my life, and it's honestly just the beginning because I've had too much fun.
Danielle, I'm just hoping I wake up tomorrow and I'm more like you. Let me tell you, I'm serious. Danielle Allen,
funny.
Congratulations.
Oh,
I look
gosh.
forward to talking to you a lot in the future. Thanks.
You're so kind. Thank you, Jim. Good to see you.
You too.
Take care.